There comes a time in every free nation when her people must ask, what is the meaning of the President's word? Is the State of the Union a show or a duty? Is it a ceremony or a pledge to the truth? Once each year, the leader of the Republic stands before representatives, judges, and citizens. He takes up the old charge to speak plainly, without favor or fear, of the real condition of our common life. We must begin here, for it is not a small matter whether the President's words align with facts or with wishes and applause. If the country cannot trust the account given from the highest office, then what binds the citizen to government, the officer to the governed, and the law to both? Picture a town hall at dawn, lanterns still lit as neighbors file in to hear the news, their hope not for spectacle, but for candor, for a reckoning. This past February, President Trump delivered his address. He spoke of job numbers, prices, crime rates, the strength of our borders. He painted a landscape of victories and renewals, of wrongs set right, of dangers tamed. Yet for many of these claims, the numbers, when tested, fell short or wandered from the truth. Some records were not records, some victories not yet won. Some improvements belonged as much to the years before, or to factors beyond any one person's hand. And here arises the first great question that ought to haunt every officeholder's conscience. What happens when a leader's word can no longer be measured? Let us pause on that, for this is the first unclosed door of our story. The answer is not simple, nor is it new. When the word spoken from on high drifts from the world as lived by the people, suspicion enters the house, and trust's foundation trembles. Imagine a farmer putting aside his hat, reading each morning's paper. He asks himself, is what I read and what I hear from my president one and the same, or have they grown apart? Our republic, from its birth, has thrived on plain speech. When was the last time a lie or boast, however grand, safeguarded liberty? A president who claims record triumphs in lowering costs or ending all strife commands attention, yes, but also sets hope on sand, not on rock. For the facts, numbers declared, prices promised, dangers said to be banished, are the bedrock upon which a country stands or sinks. In 2026, fact-checkers, auditors and reporters, working in the open eye, found many of the president's proudest banners had holes. Drug prices not uniformly down. Fentanyl's flow not truly stopped, but measured in uncertain ways. Claims of a spiritual renewal not matched by the quiet numbers of faith's decline. To some, these seem mere errors or exaggerations, to be forgiven in the spirit of showmanship or political contest. But in a republic, such missteps are not mere mishaps. They are cracks in the unspoken contract between the ruler and the ruled. If the State of the Union becomes a performance fashioned around applause, what then guides the people through the fog of uncertainty? Think of a courthouse on a cold morning, the flag raised in the breeze, a judge arriving in silence. What would justice mean if facts bent always toward praise and never toward the honest measure of circumstance? We are called, then, to weigh not just policies, but the spirit and method by which those policies are declared and pursued. Still, some may say, what is lost if a leader paints with the colors of hope, if he strains the truth to inspire or to rally unity around a cause? Can inspiration make up for candor? And do we risk more from doubt than from a little showmanship? Here we find the door to a greater room, one where the health of the republic itself is debated. Is distrust among citizens the root or the branch? Does it bloom from above, or does it begin in the ground that every voter tills? Let us walk further. To answer, we must look beyond this season's speech to the habits we plant as a people. When the president stands at the nation's pinnacle and chooses not precise truth, but the easier path of exaggeration or evasion, he invites every citizen, down to the humblest village, to do the same. Imagine a row of young schoolchildren, hands over hearts, repeating words meant to bind them to common purpose. Will they grow to trust their government if each year's promises slip through their fingers like water? A broken word is not only the wound of a moment, it is a seed of division spread in every corner. Picture a family gathered quietly around their kitchen table, the television glowing, listening for the state of their future. If each one walks away with a different notion of what is real, can they plan, sacrifice, or hope together? Once in times of mortal trial, America leaned on the hard rails of candor. Think of winter soldiers, hungry and uncertain at Valley Forge, who were told the truth of their need and their peril. Their loyalty rested not on boasts, but on shared hardship and the sober promise that their suffering meant something real. Now in this gentler hour, will we sacrifice our bond for the comfort of pleasant fibs? Can a nation regain unity when truth feels uncertain? The path back is neither quick nor easy. First, leaders, especially those entrusted with the national voice, must restore plain speaking. It is no weakness to admit what is hard or has not yet been fixed. In truth, such humility ennobles both the speaker and the nation. Next, Congress, courts, and the free press must keep watch, not as adversaries, but as fellow servants of the public trust. The president commands great power, but his word is not the law. It must stand scrutiny, revision, and, if need be, correction. Power must answer to truth, or it will answer only to itself. Now some may wonder, if every speech is scrutinized, will leaders not become timid, or the nation divided over every word? This is a fair concern, and it brings us to another door we must open. Picture the halls of Congress late at night, lamps low, as members speak not for glory, but to find the plain answer to a pressing challenge. What brings unity in such moments? Boldness unfettered by fact, or the courage to agree on what is real? Here lies the third micro-loop. Can a republic endure if its leaders sow confusion, hoping that noise and pride may cover what the facts deny? To resolve this, we must remember why plain dealing is a shield, not a weakness. America's citizens, from laborer to lawmaker, do not need perfection. They can accept slow gains and even hard truths, so long as the account is honest. When they sense that fact has become a servant to fiction, they recoil, not with rage, but with weary detachment. Imagine a young teacher in a small town, reading her students the president's words. She hopes to speak not just of promise, but of proof. If illusion replaces record, she teaches not hope, but helplessness. Let no office holder forget, the eyes of today's children are keener than a grown man's pride. They learn not only from the tale told, but from its relation to what they see and live. All this matters because trust, once spent, is not easily regained. When a president trades honesty for applause, he buys only a brief solace for himself and piles up a longer labor for his country. So how does a nation restore the essential balance? The path, as ever, lies in habits more than in heroes. Picture a kitchen at dusk, neighbors gathered around pie and coffee, disagreeing perhaps on policy, but agreeing on the need for straightforward leaders. In such homes, the republic is renewed, far from the noise of the capital. A fourth micro-loop arises here. How do citizens reclaim the ground when Washington itself seems troubled? This is answered in part by the living example of steady, honest citizenship. If the president glosses over hardship, it is for Congress to press him. If Congress grows quiet, it is for the courts and the free mind of the press to bring the ledger to light. But above all, it is for citizens to set the old virtue of candor before every party badge, every drumbeat of fear or pride. Think of children playing ball in a field, the flag above them snapping in a gentle wind. They do not ask whose victory is claimed on paper, but whether their fathers and mothers speak truth at the dinner table and whether the country around them is fair and whole. In times of trouble, unity springs not from boasting, but from shared toil and shared understanding. The Republic's strength is her unity. Not all news is black and white, yet there must be common facts to which all can return and say, "Here we stand together." Let us recall, history has seen this before. In moments of rancor, when leaders could not agree on the hour, the people still found a path by insisting on honest weight and measure. No matter the office or party, let the people send this message. that the truth will bear all things, that errors may be forgiven when admitted, but falsehoods breed only division and decay. Let the President and all who serve approach the State of the Union not as a stage for self-congratulation, but as a moment of accounting, a renewal of vows to the Constitution and to the smallest among us. Picture soldiers at rest by a smoky fire, no applause or banners, only quiet resolve as they listen for word of home. What steadied them then, and steadies us now, is not perfect news, but the knowledge that someone, somewhere, says what is so. So the task ahead is not reserved for presidents alone. A republic is husbanded by all her people, by teachers and mayors, by workers and jurors, by every youth who asks, "Is this the land my parents promised me?" Let each of us weigh public words, not for favor or party, but for their truth. Let us teach our children that greatness is found not in the loudest claim, but in the most faithful telling. Think of an old judge passing the courthouse on his way home at night, pausing under the stars. He remembers the cases that mattered most were those where someone dared to say, "Let us see what is truly before us," and nothing more. What then is the lesson of this moment? It is this: the Republic can be saved, but she is saved not by spectacle, nor by bending fact to the will of power, but by the honest work of many hands. America's story is written not by perfect men, but by those who prefer humility to pride, truth to comfort, and duty to ease. Let us renew our compact, not with cheerful illusion, but with hard-won trust. Let us make the State of the Union, and every word spoken in the name of the people, worthy of that name. And here, as dawn breaks over farms and cities, as citizens begin another day under one flag, I ask, what kind of country will we build if we choose truth above all and demand it from those who serve? The answer is yours to write, with every season, every vote, and every word you return with honesty. Will you be the citizen who insists on truth from the mighty and patience from yourself? Let this be our charge, as clear as the sunrise, as steady as the march of time. For in truth and unity, the Republic endures.